Hello and welcome back to my channel, and thanks for rejoining me with my solo RuneQuest campaign. I can recap on the last episode, the last session. The characters, they are on a mission for the Adventurers Guild to assist Silverford in its time of need and repel the encroaching influence of chaos. They have had an eventful journey from Dorwaith to Silverford through the ancient forest and following the old hunter's path. They bumped into an escaped captive accidentally who ran into them, and they helped him escape pursuers. They then discovered the existence of brews in the forest. The characters stumbled over a barrow when lost in a strange mist. There was an ominous presence of evil emanating from the entrance, and they concluded this was a place to merit future exploration. Finally, they helped harass trader Bale, and he promised them a reward in the Silver Inn. So quite an eventful last episode. A combination, I suppose, mechanic-wise of pre-design and random implementation. I'm trying to go for a kind of narrative feel and try to get the atmosphere, this rather oppressive atmosphere of the forest, and the creepiness of the barrow. Also, the two individuals, again, they were based on a random roll. There was two options that I could have chosen from. We happened to get Bale, and we happened to get Brint. So we are in the position now where we are approaching Silverford. So the party, they are accompanied by Brint and Bale, is leaving the ancient forest, which is now shrouded in darkness behind them. Before them, a mist hangs low along the silver stream, and the ford is deep with late autumn flood. In the distance, smoke curls from chimneys. The muted sound of voices and dogs reaches them. Silverford is small but alive. The Silver Inn glows warm and with firelight across the ford, a beacon after the road. So they do see the village tantalizingly close. They are weary. They have had quite a traumatic journey. It is getting late. It's getting dark. They see the welcome lights of the village. Before they reach the village, there is a ford. The approach to the village has a swaying rope ferry across the river, and the ferryman's small timber and thatched cottage sits nearby, with lanterns, nets, and smoke curling from its crooked chimney. They are met by Brand the ferryman, and he asks their business. He says, "Halt! Who goes there at this late hour?" And Barntar takes the guild letter from his pocket and shows him the insignia of the guild on the letter. He nods and welcomes them across. "I recognize this sign. I will take you across the river." So he also mutters, the elder is expecting them, and he says, "Best you see Oswin first. He hears everything." So Oswin is the name of the innkeeper, which Brint and Bill are quick to inform us. There is an optional role. Does Brand mention trouble already? Let us see. And Brand himself is a bit of a character. He lives in this rather dilapidated cottage, timber and that with lanterns. You know, it's a bit ramshackle. He's your typical old ferryman. We have got our little party. Let us quickly envision it. We've also got the association. We've got two extra characters for the duration. We've got Bale and we've got Brint. And Brint's feeling a wee bit worse for wear because he has been a bit of a beating in the last one. You know, maybe the bruise did get a hold of him a bit and scuffed him up He's also very terrified. Potentially he might be harbouring some terrible disease that brews have. However, we are all strong adventurers. We're going to hold our nose and say, yes, we are your rescuers. This is part of our mission. This is part of our brief. And Bale, he's quite agitated. His horse is getting a bit scary. It doesn't like sitting on this large, I suppose, a large structure of the platform that Brand uses to get across the river. So let's have a roll to see whether Brand gives us any further information. There's a 25% chance that he does. So no, he just keeps stum. He's got nothing more to say. And he says, good evening, gentlemen. I will see you anon. And they say, thank you very much, Brand. That was quite a pleasant little rest for us getting across the river. So, the village. A rough stockade has been built around the village in recent months, strengthening the original fencing. So there's been activity. A rudimentary gatehouse stands to the side of the road leading into the settlement. A lone guard called Serenwolf stands shivering in the rolling mist. At first, he looks wary. So there's this chap at the gatehouse. It's the mist is rolling in off the river. He looks a bit wary. He barks, stand there and state your business. On sight of the letter, Barntar is holding up the letter. We are going to use our rule of three mechanic. We are going to see what his reaction is to this, and his reaction to us looming out of the mist. 5 large burly, and one of us a dwarf. My goodness, he hasn't seen this since a month of Sundays. Maybe he does recognize. He probably recognize Brent, and he'll probably recognize Bill, who is quite a regular trader between Dorwaith and Silverford. So let's find out what his general reaction is. And we get a 68. So that is the medium. It's the medium probability. So that will be our middle. So medium is he keeps a watchful eye while making occasional humorous remarks, giving limited information about the village's predicament. So he's kind of muttering and saying, all right, yes, yeah, we've had, you've got to be very careful these days. There's all sorts of things going on. Out in the wilds, this forest used to be a very pleasant place, but in the last few months, all sorts of things have been happening. And he's kind of maybe cracking some not very good jokes, and he's not very, very funny. I'm going to be using this R3 mechanic quite extensively going forward. And if we'd got a high one, he'd be joking and bantering with the party, sharing what he sees as useful information about the village and greeting them as saviours. That did not happen, although so maybe he does have a little bit of a twinkle in his eye. If it had been low, he has the Marvin, the paranoid android kind of view that he's depressed, he's overly serious, he's going to ignore the party, and he's going to be barking orders without engagement. So he would have been rather gruff. We probably got him in the middle. Maybe this was a good option, the fact that he doesn't really talk too much. He sounds like a bit of a character. Brent, so we pass Karen Wolf. We bid him good evening, so he disappears. We follow the road up into the village. Brent, he thanks our party, the characters, for helping, and he heads to the healer's house. And I suppose from an adventurer point of view, we have a potential ally and someone who can vouch for us. Bale the trader. So Brent pops off. He says, I am in need of medical assistance, and our healer will provide that. And then Bale, the trader, he says he must take his cart to the outfitter. And this is the outfitter that Harkin was talking about, that we could present ourselves and give his name, and we would get access to all sorts of fabulous deals. He will return and honor this. This is Bale I'm talking about. He will return and honor his promise in the Silver Inn later that evening. And I have a little, in my notes, I have a little note called referee. This is going to be my new little mini avatar, where I have a referee that sits there and takes notes and says, it's interesting. I can use that for plot development. I can use that for adventure threads. And we can have our little referee as almost like another little pawn that is sitting there, sucking up all this information, absorbing it all, and we can use them as part of our role-playing experience. And these NPCs, he says, well, I am going to log them and I will use them in later sessions. So excellent referee. That is a good contribution you've made already. So the Silver Inn. We've got Bale and Brent are away. They disappear, but we still have our little band. We reach the Silver Inn. The party approaches a timber and stone longhouse near the ford. It is built sturdier than the villagers' homes. A carved beam over the door depicts a silver river running between hills and said to represent the silver stream. Okay. The party, they push into the inn. Warmth, smoke, laughter, the smell of ale and stew welcomes the party. Nice and pleasant. Warm as well, because it is getting rather chilly. Oswin, the innkeeper, and I will get an Oswin. He sweeps out. He greets them. Welcome, young masters. What brings you to the Silver Inn? Ah, I see. I've been notified to expect guild adventurers, and here you are. Ah, welcome. So the locals, there's quite a number of individuals in the tavern. They eye them with curiosity. They are outsiders, but clearly of importance. So it's not a hostile reaction, but probably one more of curiosity. And what about this character, Oswin, the innkeeper? He's cheerful, he's red-faced, he's fond of tales. He keeps the settlement secrets better than most, though sometimes slips when drunk. So he does like to drink his own produce. He is that kind of innkeeper. The referee pipes up and he says, he records debts and favours in a secret ledger, which could be very valuable to allies or enemies. So the referee has this noted. The referee is there to remind us. In fact, we'll just put the referee here as our little aid memoir. We are going to use the R3 mechanic. So we have a bit of an interplay with Oswin. We say, yes, we are from Dorowaith. We have travelled today. We have had a few trials and tribulations. It has not been plain sailing, and we go into a little bit of detail. Let's see what his overall feeling is, and see whether we get a better reaction than we did with Kerwolf, which wasn't fantastic. And he gets an 80, so that isn't very good either. That is a medium. So he's polite, but a touch wary. He answers questions cautiously and observes the party. So his initial merry greetings to us is maybe slightly toned down. Maybe he's not feeling really on form tonight, because the other options was that if we'd got a high, which is 0 on to 60, he'd have been friendly and welcoming. He'd been offering food, drink, and news of the village, which is really the kind of welcome that you want. But we've got polite but a touch wary, answers questions cautiously, and observes the party. So maybe there's just something about the party that he's not quite 100% confident. Maybe they have to kind of grow on him a bit. And if it had been low, he'd been curt and even a little dismissive. not very talkative, and maybe having a bad night. So you can see how maybe this R3 mechanic can work in different situations, and it put a bit of nuance to the individuals that we meet, and maybe take some of the heavy lifting out of the role playing, and I don't have to do, maybe sound a bit crazy, talking to myself and having my little pawns talking. I can use this mechanic to do, as I say, the heavy lifting on it, and get me to a situation where we can imagine a conversation, we can imagine an interplay of these characters and these NPCs, and get to a point where, right, I don't have to maybe roll reaction dice. I can use this to do that. I could maybe change the split, the high, medium, and low, based on some probabilities, but I don't see any need at this stage to do that. That maybe is a refinement that I can do at a later stage. So he does say that he has been instructed to make them comfortable while the elder and Thane are summoned. So the elder and the Thane were the two individuals that we had to speak to when we got to Silverford and present our letter of introduction that we got from our guildmaster. We are yet to see them. They are not in the inn at this stage. They have been summoned. But in the meantime, we are greeted to the presence of quite a delightful individual, which is Athel Gifu. She is Oswin's daughter. She is sharp-eyed, witty. She helps run the inn. She dreams of leaving Silverford and is eager for news of Dorwaith or beyond. And the referee pipes up and says, she may become an individual character ally, guide, or even cult recruit if tempted. So if any of our characters, and I know one of them is quite tempted to get involved in the religious side of RuneQuest, and maybe probably sign up to the cult of, I suppose, the analog to Orlanth, the warrior cult. Or effectively the storm god cult. Barntar is the one that's probably most susceptible to that. So if Barntar has his influence, maybe a bit of charm, maybe she will. She is probably quite keen on being a cult recruit too, if tempted. Also, as she dances around and gives us drinks, and we are seated appropriately and given some nice food and whatever, she has a bit of reaction too. So hopefully we're going to get a better, hopefully we get 60% or less, and she's not going to be quite right. So she's a 48, so she's in the normal zone. So she's high on our overall result. She's enthusiastic and chatty. She's eager to learn about the party's travels and share local gossip. And the party are only too keen to oblige, and they're very keen to talk about their recent tribulations in the forest, and maybe not go into too much detail about the barrow. They don't want to frighten the poor girl, but certainly mention the fact that they rescued, and probably maybe ham up a bit the fact that they rescued Brint, and also Bane, the trader. That is, I think, is it? I keep calling it Bane. What is it? Brint? Yeah, Bale. Bale. I'm getting mixed up with my AD&D campaign with Bane, the god. So we have some witty repartee with her. Barntard is really trying to lay on the charm. Probably, I would say Ulvar is probably competing for her affection. The rest of them are just rolling their eyes and thinking, oh yeah, we've seen all this sort of stuff before. In fact, I've got the wrong half. That is Ulvar there. So it's these two, the silver and the gold, vying for her affection. Maybe Oswin is looking on with rather, yes, that is my daughter, that they are, their dalliance. Maybe that I should keep my eye on them. Okay, so that is the charming Ethel Gifu, Oswin's daughter. The referee says that she could be useful for future reference. While we are doing this, the regulars, they are farmers and hunters. They come in nightly, spreading gossip and rumors. So this is the background churn that's going on. I suppose a bit like in my AD&D campaign, in my Green Dragon Inn. I've got these background players that effectively we don't really, they're just part of the scenery. And then travelers could be traders, messengers, pilgrims, strangers, sometimes potentially brigands in disguise. So we're not quite sure what is going on there. And a character that we have heard, and we hear mentioned, Serena the Seer. She occasionally comes in and appears. She drinks little, but she listens a great deal. So she sounds quite an interesting character for us to meet at a later stage. So we get to the stage where of the village dignitaries. So after the characters have eaten and have had several rounds of ale, they feel much better. Bale arrives. Hooray! Bale has arrived. He comes back and shouts to Oswin, "More drinks for my friends and I will settle their debt." So he is honouring his promise because we helped him with his cart. He feels very enthusiastic to reward us and give us back a few rounds of drinks and a hearty meal. We feel very satisfied by this. Two individuals enter the inn. There is a temporary hush. So these other two, I'm getting a lot of pawns here. I'm just going to have to maybe, these two individuals enter the inn. There is a hush. A temporary hush comes over the place, followed by many greetings and welcomes. So these are known individuals, very, very well known. These are the elder and the thane. Finally, they make their way over to the characters. So they come across. Let us get the daughter out of the way. Who showed their letter of introduction. So Barntar shows the letter of introduction to them. They ask for Bale's leave and take them aside to an alcove. So they ask Bale, please excuse us, Bale. We need to talk to these individuals in private. They are escorted over to an alcove. Master Dwarf as well. You bring a dwarf. I have not seen dwarves for a long time, says the thane. So we have Elder Mildritha and we have Thane Heelstore. So Elder Mildritha, she is the village matriarch. She's a priestess of Elowin, and that's the earth goddess. Her knowledge of local lore, plant magic, and village traditions is invaluable. She's the moral compass and often the source of requests for divine intervention or blessing. She is going to have a bit of a reaction as well. But let's introduce Thane Heelstore. He's the village war leader and chief, an initiate of Taranis. Taranis is the god that I was talking about, which is basically the Orlad analogue, and it's the one that Barntar's interest that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. He's strong. He's honourable, but perhaps a bit set in his ways. He handles external threats and justice. So between the two, they run this village. He also is going to have a bit of a reaction. So we have already shown the letter of introduction. We start to talk. There's a bit of interplay there. We are building up a bit of rapport. Let us see how Mildratha, what her general impression is of us. She is, oh dear, she gets a 90. So we are rolling very poorly tonight. So that is just on the cusp, because if you will recall, on my rule of 3, I have 01 to 60 is high, 61 to 90 is medium, and 91. So it's just on the cusp of low probability, and this is the probability. So we've just not hit the low. So we have a medium for her, and what we're going to get for Heelstore, see what his impression is. He's much better. He's 14. He's in the normal range. So for a medium for Mildratha, she's more cautious and questioning, She will give information but may ask for more evidence of the mission. So she's quite penetrating in some of the things that she's asking. She's not completely lit up and enamored by our characters. Maybe there's something just being a bit reticent. She's potentially in a bit of shock with what's happening to her village. She's a bit overcome, and the fact that we have some adventurers coming, that's probably one of the things that she doesn't really want to have as an intervention, because she really just wants a kind of a normal village that just ticks over, the crops, every year, just regularity of village life. And something has happened that has disrupted that, so she probably feels a bit on edge. However, Heelstore, he is high, so he greets the party respectfully and offers assistance or advice on local matters. So he's much more bullish with the characters. He is very friendly, even though he is a bit, as I say, is a bit, maybe a bit dour, and maybe a bit reticent at the start. He's warming up nicely. Maybe a few glasses of ale that we are sharing is having a bit of an effect. We get to the point in the evening where the elders are going to give an explanation, and we start with Mildratha, and she says, there is a bit of a hush, and she says, right, we have to come to the reason why you are here. I will inform you. You've come at a dark time, strangers. Silverford has always been a quiet village, but misfortune has begun to gnaw at our borders. Our milk sours before it should, crops wither despite care, and an unnatural mist creeps through the fields at night. In the forest some whisper of brews stalking travellers, and outlaws have grown bold in the low hills. Even the old barrow has stirred bones that should sleep are restless again. Worst of all, there are whispers of chaos, strange rites performed in secrecy, and we fear agents of a cult may already walk among us. We are helpless to confront this alone, and that is why your guild sent you. If you can uncover the truth, bring safety to Silverford before these shadows spread further. That is your mission. So that is the initial from Mildratha. She gives us a bit of maybe her eyes maybe start to well up with tears. She looks to be a bit upset. The Thane, he adds an additional grim discoveries and fears that have come to recent attention, and he says, there is more you should know, adventurers. It is not only chaos that gnaws at our peace. The hill tribe, who once kept to their high country, have grown restless. Our hunters speak of their patrols straying into the forest, well beyond their bounds. Such boldness is no accident. And there are darker whispers still, that at Eagle's Point, the tribes have struck some accord with outsiders. A Selenic fort, they say, is being raised, and there is a bit of an intake of breath upon that crag, stone by stone. If this is true, then Silverford is caught in a tightening snare. Chaos cultists within our walls, brews and outlaws without, and now armed tribesmen watching us from the hills. Are they hostile? Are they pawns of some greater power? We do not yet know, but the village cannot stand against them all. That is why you are here, to be our shield and our eyes in the dark. So, we have got quite a brief now. It is probably expanded, and we're saying this is a bit more than what Harkin was letting us on. And the Thane Heelstore says, look, some of these things have come to our attention recently. Some of my patrols that I use have seen these hill tribes in the forest, and it is unusual for them to be there. And this potentially Selenic incursion. They are maybe coming into some sort of tribal arrangement to maybe expand their sphere of influence in this region. They are covetous of the borderlands. They will do anything at any opportunity to have more of a presence, more of a stamp. They are already trying with their agents in Doorwave. This could be a lot more a kind of hard power that they are trying to project. We must find out. So that is basically the lowdown. The point of this this initial episode was not really to give us an overview of the town, which will probably come the next time. I've got individual buildings and locations and some more NPCs designed. But to give us an overview of it, really just a kind of list of all the different potential hostiles that we're going to face and some of the things that are going to confront us in this mini campaign, and give us probably quite a different range of quite interesting foes and potential problems that we have to face in this setting. And what I can do is I can locate all these different threats, and we can, as a party, see how we deal with them. Are we going to adapt to the local situation, or are we going to find it, in some instances, too difficult to manage, and we are basically off on the wrong foot, or we go down a blind alley? It's going to be down to our skill and our knowledge and our abilities, and using the local network that we can establish. I am hoping that there's going to be quite a blend of adventuring, dungeon, traditional kind of dungeon delving, investigative kind of, almost like whodunit type stuff, with the cult, that should bring that type of thing in. Probably the dungeon stuff more with the barrow, and actually adventuring and going out and exploring with the brews and whatever in the forest, and obviously the outlaws too. And then we do have the useful intervention of our referee, and I have this thing. The referee says, "Well, these are the I've taken notes of this, and what I've done is I've actually put it into possible adventure threads. So let me just give you a recap." And we go, "You referee, you really are worth your weight in gold. This is fantastic." Milk souring mysteriously. Investigate livestock or the dairy. Uncover natural causes or subtle corruption, chaos taint affecting animals. That could be a line of inquiry. Interesting. Crops failing despite care. Explore fields and surrounding lands. May reveal pest infestations, blighted soil, or magical interference. So the referee is giving us a few pointers on how we could get our little adventures started and how we can start investigating this. Mists at night. Nighttime patrols or scouting. Could encounter spirits, brews, or cult activity shrouded in fog. That sounds a bit frightening. Rumors of brews in the forest. Forest exploration and combat, or tracking and confronting these malevolent fae. That sounds quite a risky strategy, but maybe we have to face up to this reality. Outlaws in the low hills occupying the ancient caves. Patrol or ambush encounters, negotiation, or uncovering a network of raiders connected to chaos cult activity. The reawakening of undead in the barrow. We have to investigate the ancient burial sites, battle skeletons or ghouls, uncovered cursed objects, or cult meddling. Right. Chaos cultists and potential agents in the village. This is quite a shocking discovery and development. Social investigation, eavesdropping, gathering evidence, and confronting hidden threats without tipping them off. And this is very much more the investigative side, which I think is always quite good fun, and it'd be interesting to see how we simulate that in role-playing. We're getting almost into a kind of like a traveller type thing, where you have to do that kind of espionage type mission. Why not do it in RuneQuest 2 and do have a nice hybrid. The hill tribe patrols sighted in the forest beyond their territory. track or confront them to learn their motives. Okay. What about rumours of a fort at Eagle's Point, said to be a Selenic stronghold built with hill tribe support? Scout the site, confirm its purpose, and uncover who truly controls it, and potentially have a confrontation with Selenic legionaries. It could be a nasty business, that. Uncertain intentions. The hill tribes may be hostile, coerced, or under chaos influence. All these could be legitimate reasons why they are acting strangely. Negotiate, spy, or test their loyalties before they become a greater threat. Yes, we are going to have at our disposal some of the, if we play our cards right and make a good impression, we are going to have at our disposal some of the resources of Silverford, limited as they may be. This is going to provide us with a good base of operations. We can use that to strike out into the surrounding territory. I will have a map of the immediate region where I will place tentatively some of these threats initially, with the help of the referee. Also, we'll have a detailed micro map of the village, and we'll be able to explore some of the interesting buildings there too, and build up a kind of almost like a cozy feeling of being at home in Silverford. Very much a kind of Apple Lane kind of analog, and a similar vibe that we get from there, where we feel quite comfortable with that environment. And also the referee says, well, what about the Silver Inn? And I am talking maybe from the experience of another campaign that I know that we're all very familiar with on this channel, which is the Green Dragon in AD&D, the Northern Marches, and we can use the Silver Inn as in a similar kind of function as a rumor hub. It's the best place to introduce chaos threat hints, brews, brigands, cults, and barrows. That's where the referee says, yes, I can use that to my advantage as a source of the rumors. A recruitment point. Characters may seek guides or gain allies. Yes, a recruitment hub is what we need. Conflict zone, potentially, this is an occupational hazard. Quarrels, theft, or fights can escalate into adventures. Of course they can. It could be in the Silver Inn. Will it get a reputation for some barroom scuffles? Let us find out. An information center. The innkeeper can confirm or deny suspicions, but may mislead. If he has a few of his own drinks, he may just be not too. And he hasn't really had a very warm reception to us at the start. I think we have plenty of miles to go before we can get a trust between us. That's something we need to work on. Pressure valve. When tensions rise in Silverford, they boil over here first. You're right. So, I see the Silver Inn as being quite a dynamic and an interesting place. It's a hub for us to be based at. Hopefully we can strike up a bit more of a rapport with Osrin, get his trust, get his support. Very, very much a bit like the innkeeper in our Green Dragon. That we had a very, very strong situation with that. I don't think I've really got too much more to cover in this particular episode. As I said, it was really an opportunity for me to get us to the location, get a bit of setup with some of the characters that are going to be located, some of the NPCs, strike some relationships and get some colour, and probably most importantly, give us almost like a list of all the different adventure threads that could potentially, and lines of inquiry that we are going to be investigating or pursuing in this mini campaign. And I think there's going to be quite a rich and textured exploration potential, investigative potential, and potential, and almost like rumor and a rumor mill, a delving aspect, all sorts of different dimensions that we can explore in this environment. And I think I always keep harking back to one of my original objectives was to get almost up to a mini Balazar level of detail and basic, something that we can feel is a kind of living and breathing environment for us to adventure in. And I suppose the more we do adventure in this, the more we will be embedded and we'll have a stake in it, and we'll be rooting for the people of Silverford in their fight. They seem to have quite an uphill struggle before them, faced by many opponents, of very, potentially very strong ones. Are they all going to coalesce against them? Let us find out. But at least they have this brave band of adventurers who are going to save them, is going to relieve them. They do have, I suppose, recourse to the guild. Maybe if they feel that they are out of their depth on certain things, maybe they can always send a messenger. Harkin can send aid, maybe a champion or an individual that is going to help them, a specialist or whatever. Okay, I think I have done enough today. Next episode, as I said, we are going to explore the village a bit more. We're going to probably head off on one of our adventures. I will hopefully have a map of the area, a map of the village. We'll get an idea of the actual physical geography of the place. We're going to start feeling at home in the Silver Inn. It's going to be maybe a bard will come in and relate a few tales and give us a bit of local colour. Let's wait and see. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you next time.